Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Fanzone Debate. We are here for a number one contenders match, and I am just as shocked as all of you. We've got Nazario Montenegro going up against fucking Jack Pinchuk. But credit where credit's due. Jack has made his way here. Nazario making his way here as well. And they're going to go up against each other in the debate ring. I'm looking forward to this because when I told Nazario who he'd be playing, he went, "What?" And Jack went, I can't believe I'm here. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. We got Kirk Kowalkowski on the desk. Kirk, it's been a while since we've seen you judge, but I'm happy to have you here for this one. I think this is going to be a lot of fun. What do you think about Jack going up against Nazario?
Yeah, I agree. I think when this whole little title picture started, no one would have said Jack and Nazario, but I think that just goes to show how underrated both these guys are and just how sneaky good in different ways, different styles, definitely. I'm interested to see how they play off each other tonight because there's like I said, a very different way and strategy these guys take that they took to get here. So it's going to be fun to see how those two clash.
And Mark is here. Mark, welcome back. And how are you feeling about Nazario going up against Jack?
It's certainly going to be interesting because Kirk opened up with that. They both have they have two different styles. It's going to be interesting to see how each of them tries to probably adapt to each other's game. So I think we're in for a good one. I think so.
Yeah. All right. So we are going to bring in the lower ranked player first. We are going to talk to Mr. Pinchuk, whose internet looks like it's having a field day. But Jack, I see you now. How are you feeling going up against Nazario? And I know you already said behind the scenes you're surprised that you got this far, but you earned it. You're going up against Nazario. How are we feeling?
I actually feel pretty all right about this. Just questions and answers that were submitted. I feel like I have ones that I can win arguments with, and I'm excited to see what I'm excited, but very anxious to see what Nazario brings to this, because there was one question in particular where I went, "What?" to his answer, and I'm very it makes me concerned as to what he might pull in that question, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we'll bring in Mr. VHS himself, Mr. Montenegro, Nazario. Sir, how are you doing? You are wearing a Ghostbusters shirt tonight in honor of me. Are you excited to be going up against Jack? And how are your thoughts about being in another number one contender match in Fanzone Debate?
I'm very, very, very tired.
I feel that.
Work is kicking my ass, and we have some holidays coming, and apparently we're going to work through them. So I have that going for me. Other than that, what?
What? Yeah, I think I nailed it. You feel like I nailed it? I feel like I nailed it.
Yeah, pretty close.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. Guys, I'm very excited for this number one contender match. Let's get into it. This is how it's going to work. There are going to be 4 prep questions based off of categories that the players drafted. They gave us those categories, and then we gave them questions based on them, and they are going to debate those questions tonight before our very souls. So each of them are going to get a 1-minute opening, followed by the 5-minute freeform, followed by a 1-minute closing. And at the end of the debate, Kirk, Mark, and I will write on our handy-dandy boards who we thought won that debate. If you get 2 out of 3 votes, you get a point. If you get up to 3 points, you win the match. So if we are tied 2-2 following the 4 prep debate questions, we will move to a bonus round.
Is that not just part of every single match?
It is not, but when you're here, it tends to be. So we are going to get rocking and rolling into the match. Any questions from the players before we get started?
Can I quickly leave and come back?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, we are going to kick it off with the first category, which was drafted by Nazario. This question is in the category of Disney. The question is, who is the best character in a Wolfgang Reitherman directed Disney movie? Nazario gets to kick this one off, and he has 1 minute to open his argument when he starts talking. Nazario, I will come in to give you a 10-second warning when the time comes. So 1 minute when you start talking.
Wolfgang Reitherman is actually a very prolific director in Disney movies. He got his chance to be like full director in the early 60s, and he basically was a one-man machine for Disney for like 20 years. He directed a lot of great characters, but I think one stands above the rest, and that is Winnie the Pooh. In the film, The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. This is why. Winnie the Pooh was a literary character that won the hearts of and minds of childs since the 20s. But it was limited to that appearance. When Reitherman adapted him into the iconic image that it is, the Winnie the Pooh character from the Disney films with the red shirt, it kind of overtook the original. In a way, he gave a character a spotlight and a new look that became what the character is known for people now. It's a lovable bear who loves honey, is completely naive, and it's in the minds and hearts of all the children in the world.
Time. Okay. Winnie the Pooh. We are going to move over to Jack for his pick. Jack, 1 minute when you start talking.
If there's one thing Disney has proved over the course of their nearly 100 years of making movies, it's that their best characters are their villains. The same is true for most, if not all, of Wolfgang Reitherman's Disney films. Cruella de Vil is without question the best part of 101 Dalmatians. George Sanders brings an incredible level of menace to Shere Khan in The Jungle Book. And Prince John is without question the most entertaining and fun character in Disney's Robin Hood. But the best of the best is the personification of evil itself, brought to life by the incomparable Eleanor Audley, Maleficent from Sleeping Beauty. Maleficent is the perfect Disney villain. Cunning, vindictive, insanely powerful, and a terrifying presence that hangs over the entire film like a shadow. No other character from Reitherman's films is as captivating and iconic as the Mistress of Evil, and if that's just the facts. If we were arguing most boring characters in a Reitherman Disney film, Nazario would have a great argument.
Time. All right, some shade being thrown over at Winnie the friggin' Pooh. Guys, 5 minute freeform when one of you starts talking. If you guys are obnoxious and yelling at each other and I can't hear anything, I'm going to throw up the let's move on, and I will come in with the 1 minute warning. So don't make me put up the let's move on, though, because then I'm going to call Nick and have him come beat you up. So don't do that. So, again, 5 minute freeform when one of you starts talking.
That was pretty nice. How long it took you to write that?
Not long.
Okay, Maleficent. Maleficent in concept is a great character, but in execution in the Sleeping Beauty film from the 50s, not really. She's pretty one-dimensional. She doesn't look at all like all the fairies, although she's supposed to be one. She's drawn pretty, but other than that, she just shows up, gets pissed that she wasn't invited to a baby shower, and cursed as a child. And she doesn't really have more agency in the film other than that. She just appears, cackles, and that's it. What makes her memorable is the things that happen in other movies, in other adaptations from the film, not this one. So I don't understand your point.
Look, I'm going to be honest with you.
Please.
The fact that you said that she is one-dimensional, she's not invited to this celebration, and she decides to destroy an entire child's life. Yes, that's insane. She's not in her. She's not doing any of these evil schemes for any personal gain or to avenge some wrong that King Stefan visited upon her or anything like that. She's pissed off, and she's taking it out on this small child. And if we're being honest right now, Winnie the Pooh is a boring ass character. You say that Maleficent is one-dimensional. Winnie the Pooh the entire time is just think, honey, honey, honey. There's nothing. He spends a good 20 minutes of that movie with his ass stuck in a door. Like this character does nothing in the movie. He's a character in an anthology movie, so he has no growth at all. It negates any growth he has. Maleficent is, she's iconic and memorable, and she's one of the greatest villains Disney has ever produced.
Yeah, the things you mentioned that she doesn't have with the story, with King Stefan and everything, that's called character growth, and that is explored in another adaptation that it doesn't have to do with the movie you picked. In this one, like I said, she's pretty flat. She's a flat character. Winnie the Pooh, yes, he's has the innocence and naivete of a child, and that is what makes him so great. It's a character that was created to be able to be identifiable to kids. His situations, his little adventures are all with his small friends because it's trying to emulate the relationships kids have with other kids. And the character has been so popular that he has endured. This image of Winnie the Pooh has become the image of Winnie the Pooh for every child in the world after the movie was made. And yes, it works because he has been coming back and back and back. Winnie the Pooh has six theatrical movies plus a bunch of series and made for TV movies based on this design of this character. They have all been successful, and to this day, Winnie Pooh merchandise is one of the most sold things in Disney World, which makes him a memorable, important character. Like I said, Maleficent became maybe a better character in other adaptations not done by Wolfgang Reiterman.
Look, if Maleficent it's frustrating when you talk about the adaptation in the other
Don't get
films,
frustrated, man. We're just hanging out.
It's frustrating it's frustrating when you talk about those and say that they're better because it completely negates what
They're more
Maleficent's supposed to
interesting.
be.
They are more interesting. Yes.
I let you talk. May you let me? All right. So it's frustrating because it completely betrays what this character is supposed to be, which is just pure evil. She's not supposed to have any deeper motive than she's just the personification of evil. Pooh is supposed to be like one of Christopher Robin's best friends and one of the best friends of everyone in the 100-Acre Woods, but he is a selfish asshole. He invites himself into his friend's house, eats all of their food, and then gets his ass stuck in a door and spends the next few days there. It's days. Maleficent, they completely ignore what made Maleficent great, and in the 2014 movie. But even then, the 2014 movie doesn't matter, and none of the extended canon of Winnie the Pooh does either. It's just the Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, and if we're talking just that movie, he is so fucking boring. I don't know what to tell you. Maleficent is
Again,
so
if we're talking just your Sleeping Beauty movie, she's a very one-dimensional character. She literally says, "I am the mistress of all evil." Cool. Why? Give me a roundness. Give me a character. She just shows up, curses the kid, disappears from the movie for like 40 minutes, and then shows up, and she realizes that she cannot hold the movie, so she has to do something different, which is just turn into a freaking dragon. The character doesn't have a motive. The character doesn't have growth. The only thing she does have is a great look, and it became famous for it. But Winnie the Pooh has stories, has connections, has experiences. It embodies what childhood is, and it has many little adventures in one film.
All right, Jack, we're going to kick this off with you. You're going to close first. You got 1 minute when you start talking.
My character is one of the greatest, most iconic characters ever that in any animated film. And that wouldn't be the case if Maleficent was any different. Menacing, reserved, and vindictive, Maleficent isn't doing the evil for any personal gain or to avenge some wrong like they stupidly made the case in the live-action film. She's doing it because she wasn't invited to a party. She's pissed off. She's going to ruin this fucking child's life. Simple as that. Sometimes a character can just be pure evil. And sometimes a character can just be pure evil. She's simultaneously terrifying and charismatic, and that's thanks to the brilliant voice work by Eleanor Audley. Winnie the Pooh is one of the most overrated one-note characters Disney has ever brought to the screen. Sure, yeah, he's he's goes on all these little adventures. Those little adventures are really boring. I could take a really nice nap in them. Whereas Maleficent, she brings life to this movie. Winnie the Pooh just doesn't.
Time. Okay, now we're going to move over to Nazario. Nazario, you have 1 minute to close your argument when you start talking.
Like I said, Winnie the Pooh was a great character originally, which is part of what the question is, the best character. And he was elevated, made better, made a classic by the adaptation that Wolfgang Reiterman did in The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. it doesn't try to be anything beyond what it is. It is an experience of childhood. It's a character you can understand simply because it's made for children. He may be boring to Jack, but in general, he connects with children, and all the kids who grew up with him, like me, we have nostalgia for this version of the character. He hangs with his friends. He's pure and sweet. Yes, he likes honey, but that is part of his arc. And you know what an arc is? Is the thing when things have a reason for existing, which Maleficent doesn't. Maleficent is a great drawn character. She has a great look. But other than that, she doesn't have reason, she doesn't have growth, she doesn't become even interesting in the movie. She's just there. She becomes interesting in later adaptations, and Sterling Holloway was a great voice for Winnie the Pooh.
Whoa, voice for Winnie the Pooh. Holy shit. Strike it from the record. Okay. All right. I'm ready. Judges ready?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Today's snack of the week, AMC Theaters popcorn. You can buy this at Walmart in the bag. It's quite good. And
Does it taste like does it taste like the actual popcorn?
I think so. Quite good. Very delicious. They say you should heat it up, heat and eat, but nah. I like it just right out of the bag.
Have the butter on it and everything?
Yeah, they have classic butter, lightly salted, and extra butter, but the extra butter is like way too salty, so I stick with the classic butter. Okay, I'm going with Nazi Beats. This was good. I thought the whole Jack struggled a bit in his closing. I think that Jack was able to hold his own during the main date enough. But I think Nazario did a really good job of kind of putting down Maleficent. And I think that I was ready to say, like, come on, this whole, like, in the future, like, future adaptations and stuff, that doesn't fucking count. Like, when Nazario brought, like, all the other adaptations, I'm like, we're not talking about Blood and Honey here. Like, come on, we're just talking about these movies. And I think that Nazario did a good job of, like, kind of backtracking on that when Jack called him out on it. And it worked. And Nazario was able to tell me, like, again, I didn't need to hear like the arc of the character, blah, 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 and everything. But I thought Nazario, just like character as a whole, conveyed to me why Winnie the Pooh wasn't actually that boring, was a really interesting character as far as what he does in the movie, but also how he looks and everything. So, Kirk, where are you going?
Okay. I had the opposite opinion. I went with Jack. I think that Nazario did focus a little too much on other movies and other adaptations, other versions of the characters, and Jack was able to bring it in. Hey, this is just these movies, and Nazario even brought up the adaptations in his closing. And I think when Nazario was like, well, she's boring, she's just evil, and Jack was like, well, yeah, that's her thing. She's just mad about one thing, and that's what she's going to do. And Nazario didn't convince me enough, other than tell me, oh, it's about childhood. Didn't tell me why Winnie the Pooh isn't boring, isn't dull. So it was close, but and Nazario almost came back in the closing for me, but I had to go with Jack.
All right, Mark, you're deciding this one.
Oh, doesn't happen very often. I mean, the previous match, I was often deciding the loser. So
that's true, actually.
But you get to pick the winner here. I went with Nazario. Kind of agree a lot with what Tim said. I think probably the one aspect about Nazario's argument that did it for me is that I think at least like there were parts where like he focused in on the Winnie the Pooh character that was created within the with the Wolfgang Reitherman movie, and how that version of the character it became the main Winnie the Pooh character that has become kind of the symbol for the character for years and years. I think that's kind of that was kind of the one part of the argument that just kind of put it over the top for me.
Okay. All right. So Nazario wins the first point. We are going to move on to the next question, which was drafted by Jack in the category of actors and actresses. And the question is, what is the stupidest plot to a pre-1975 Ingrid Bergman film. I have seen all of these. We're going to go to Jack first. Jack, you have 1 minute when you start talking.
I'm going to sum up Saratoga Trunk here. Fair warning, it's really stupid. Ingrid Bergman is the daughter of a wealthy man and his mistress, who was exiled from New Orleans after getting pregnant. After her mother dies, she returns to New Orleans to marry someone rich to get revenge on the family that exiled her mother, but falls in love with a cowboy from Texas played by Gary Cooper. After he leaves New Orleans for Saratoga Springs, she settles with the family to follow him to Saratoga Springs, completely betraying her entire motivation. But once she's there, the movie basically turns into a discount version of The Bride Wore Red. She's in a love triangle with Gary Cooper and this rich mama's boy. Meanwhile, Gary Cooper is planning a heist on the railroad company that the rich mama's boy owns. The plot continuously belittles Bergman's character and the audience, and I'm sorry Ingrid Bergman had to be in a movie this fucking stupid. Nazario's movie is a lot of fun. I genuinely don't understand the pick there.
Time. All right. We're going to move over to Nazario. Nazario, you have 1 minute when you start talking.
You made me laugh. Did he actually just read the plot from IMDb? That was his opening argument. Okay. Indiscreet. It's a stupid ass movie. It's silly as fuck. It's an actress who lives in London, and she decides, you know what? I am done with love. I don't want to love anybody else anymore until she meets this guy. Who was introduced to her by her brother-in-law. Yeah. And then he's like, whoa. The fuck out of here. I'm married. I cannot do this shit. She's like, oh, so maybe that's something I have to try. Get into a married man's pants because, that doesn't lead to anything, and I don't love anymore. And it ends up resulting that the guy is not even married. He just does that because he doesn't want to commit. But this time he actually fell in love. So he decides, you know what? I'm going to surprise her. I'm going to go back. I'm going to ask her to marry me. And she's like, fuck you. If you're lying to me, I want to lie to you and pretend to cheat on you with an old guy.
Time. All right, this is going to be fun. 5 minute freeform when one of you starts talking.
Okay,
dude, your movie has revenge. Wait. Your movie has revenge. It has intrigue. It has, what did you say? Like a robbery on a train or something? That sounds fucking awesome.
Listen, Nazario.
Oh, it's the train. Yes.
A few things. One, yeah, I read the plot. That's the plot of the movie. It's really stupid. Secondly, your movie is really, it's a really fun movie. It's a character. Her character is someone who has given up on finding love. She's just like, I think I'm done. Like there's I don't.
We're not talking about the characters. We're talking about the plot.
Just wait. And so she meets Cary Grant, and he's like, okay, yeah, no, I can't get married to you. Like we can't see each other because I'm married. He's not actually married, which is something that's revealed later in the movie. And when it's revealed in the movie, the plot takes a really interesting turn. She essentially holds her sister, her brother-in-law, and Cary Grant all hostage. Prior to know that she knows, Cary Grant doesn't know. She holds them all hostage for the last act of the movie as she's basically going on this revenge scheme to be like, I found out about your secret and I'm really hurt by you. Whereas in this movie, her entire motivation is to marry someone rich to be like, yes, fuck you to the people that banished her mother. And then she meets a cowboy and immediately gives up on that to go run after him. And then she meets someone else. It's like, oh, money. It doesn't work.
Yeah, okay, that's enough.
Betrayed her motivation, and then
we've been talking for like 2 minutes. Relax.
I don't get it.
Relax. The characters don't matter. We're talking about the plot. The plot is pretty stupid, and you just said it yourself. Oh, he lied to me, so I'm gonna kidnap 3 fucking people. What?
Not kidnap.
Does that you said kidnap?
I said
you said she basically kidnapped it. And what is her plan? When the guy comes back, now she knows he's coming back because he loves her. She's like, fuck him. Now I'm gonna cheat on him with this guy. Oh, but that guy gets in an accident. So she has to, do something different. And she picks the oldest, most awkward looking guy that she can find because he's the only one available. And when the guy shows up, she's like, yeah, I've been cheating on you with this guy. Oh, what a mess. Your movie may not have good characters, but it has a woman that was expelled from New Orleans from a family. She wants to come back and get her revenge. Her revenge gets sidetracked because she gets interested in this guy who's a con artist, and she wasn't expecting that. But it has intrigue, man. It has the fucking thing with the railroad. I forgot what it was, but it was like the guy was making a play for money while she was falling for him, and she was derailing her revenge plot. It is an interesting idea. Mine just has guy lies, girl doesn't like he lies, so she gets revenge with a bad idea. And that is the stupidest thing to base a movie on. Yours has layers, at least has layers.
Look, just having more layers doesn't make your movie good. I'm sorry, but if we're being honest with
Doesn't
ourselves,
have to be good, just better than mine.
her revenge plan doesn't get sidetracked. It gets completely abandoned when she meets the cowboy. And if we're look, Cary Grant and her, I didn't say she kidnaps anyone. She basically, she's like, okay, yeah, we're gonna go. No, I never said kidnap. Listen, let me explain. I said she essentially holds the three of them hostage at a big dinner, basically with the knowledge that, yes, I know about this. He doesn't know. If you tell him, I'm going to be pissed at you. And then when she gets revenge on him, which she knows that he's coming back at midnight to give her a gift because he's pretending to be in love with her. She's like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna make sure that he sees me with another man so that he'll be hurt.
I am bored to tears just by you trying to describe how the movie is not stupid. Yours has a chase on a train. The train crashes and there's a battle after. Only based on that is better than the 90 plus minutes this thing was. And there's a revenge plot. And there's like a short person in it.
Goes nowhere.
And the short person keeps picking on the thing. It's surprising. I like your thing, man. It has elements. It has layers. It actually has things happening. The plot moves forward. It changes midstream. Yes, it does. It goes to the destination you were not expecting. But this one has interesting things happening. Indiscreet is pointless.
Indiscreet is a really fun romantic comedy, whereas Saratoga Trunk is a bloated love triangle movie that is
pointless.
I'm on the floor because my dog is sad, so I had to come down here to comfort him. But okay, we're gonna start with Nazario on this one. Nazario, you have 1 minute to close your argument when you start talking.
What can I say? He's mentioning characters. She's making development, funny stuff happening. We're talking about the stupidest plot. The plot is the thing you pitch, right? The things that happen in the movie. His movie had a revenge thing about it being exiled from New Orleans. She falls in love with a con artist. Then she gets distracted from her revenge thing. She falls in love with a cowboy. She comes back to the guy. They have a train heist on it. They have a crash. They have a battle. They have interesting things moving the plot forward. Mine is like, I don't believe in love. Okay, so I'm gonna get this guy who's married. He's not married. I'm pissed. I'm gonna make him think I was cheating on him with this old dude because he's the only one available. That is the plot. That was the pitch. They made a movie out of this for real, and it's stupid. It's stupid. I'm dead.
You're done. All right, great. Bucky's made his way onto the couch. Okay.
Pointless.
We're going to move over to Jack. Jack, you have 1 minute when you start talking.
All of the things that Nazario said about mine that are interesting, they only sound interesting on paper. The execution in the movie is brutal. Nazario's is a really interesting take on the love at first sight story. Like Roman Holiday and West Side Story were able to make a story like that work. And this one takes it and does something different with it. In fact, it was taken for a Walter Matthau movie 11 years later of a dude who says he's married to get with this woman, but is actually not married in real life. And it's actually a really interesting movie. This movie, Indiscreet, is a lot of fun. It has some really quotable lines. It has some really fun moments. The whole scene at dinner is perfect. It is tense. It is funny. It is a little stress. It's pretty stressful too. And Ingrid Bergman is giving, I'm not going to lie here, one of her most fun performances. In Saratoga's Trunk, it is just over-dramatic soap opera bullshit, and it betrays the characters, and it dumbs the audience down. It's
Time. Okay. We are going to bring in the judges. Now I can't reach my marker because of my dogs. Oh, okay. Nazario looks confused.
Yeah, he kept talking about things that were not part of the question.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm okay.
All right, Mark, you're kicking us off.
Cool. Ugh. It's a weird fight. I mean, one, I've seen both of these movies. Because I no background on this, so like, I mean, you guys grabbing the plot, I don't know what's going on, but I think I just kind of kept going back to the word stupid, and I think I feel like there was a bit sometimes where got lost in the weeds in a little bit. I think just in terms of stupid, I ended up going with Jack. Like, I think Jack did a better explaining why the plot of his movie is dumb. And I feel like when we kind of kept going back to Indiscreet, I think we kind of made it sound like it was boring. Not that it was stupid. I think Jack's plot sounded more stupid, really.
Okay. I went with Nazario. I disagree with Mark, actually. Like, I rarely say this, but I disagree with Mark quite a bit on this one. I thought that Nazario very well convinced me that Jack's movie sounded fucking awesome. There's like fights and he made it want to see that movie. And trains and crash, like, I don't know, like, I know the train thing was just one thing, but like that was the moment where I was like, this movie sounds fun. Like, I'm interested in fun. Whereas Nazario was just stupid from beginning to end. Like, there was nothing, and Jack didn't really convince me in any way why Nazario's movie wasn't stupid. He just like kept reiterating what the plot was. He was like, yeah, but this happens, and Nazario was like, yeah, it's stupid. And Jack was like, but then this happens, and Nazario was like, yes, it's stupid. So that's how I felt. Kirk, it's going to be a split decision type of night. Where are you going? You're muted.
You're muted.
Oh no. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I feel that they were both kind of just reiterating the plot, and I thought it was funny that Nazario criticized Jack for using his opening to say the whole plot of the movie, and that he used
But I
his
didn't
opening
read it.
to say the whole plot of the movie. So because there wasn't much argument just telling the plot, I think Jack did a better job of making Nazario's movie sound stupid. And I think the one thing that stuck with me is that, plot's always tough. Like, what is plot? I think that's something we always dance around with these questions. But the one I think really plot-related thing that Jack kept hitting a couple times that stuck with me was the fact that the one part of the plot gets completely abandoned, and Nazario really didn't have a comeback for that. So that's the way I had to lean.
All right. Well, we are tied 1-1 going into the next question, which was drafted by Nazario in the category of comedy. And the question is, what is the funniest joke in a 90s Adam Sandler film that isn't by Adam Sandler? Nazario, you get to kick this one off. You have 1 minute when you start talking.
This was actually harder to pick than I expected, because the most memorable things in Adam Sandler movies, preferably in the 90s, is usually things said by Adam Sandler. But when you think about it, there is the exception, which is the scene I picked. The thing I picked, which is Hal-El, the character played by Ben Stiller in Happy Gilmore. He is a nurse in a retirement home where he had to put it was a grandma, because she lost her house. And the guy just had this weird mustache and pretends to be the nicest guy on earth. But in reality, he abuses the elderly for profit. because he just gets introduced and he's just a mean freaking dude. And the scene that I think it works the best is when we see all the elderly people like needing, like freaking like doing embroidery, and he's selling them. He's on the phone saying, "When you need this by 200 apiece, okay, good deal. Everybody, arts and craft is extended for 4 fucking hours today. Let's go."
All right. We're going to move over to Jack. Jack, you have 1 minute to open your argument when you start talking.
Mr. Madison, what you've just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I've ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul. This is the principal's response to when Billy finishes giving his answer to a question regarding reflections on society and literature. He is perplexed as to what he had just heard, and he tells Billy exactly what he thinks in great detail. When a simple wrong would have done just fine. And throwing "May God have mercy on your soul" at the end is just perfect. Nazario's scene may seem funny on the surface, but when you actually stop to think about it for more than 2 seconds, it's uncomfortable and frankly sickening. He's trying to pitch you a joke on abusing the elderly, and that really just doesn't sit right for me.
I'm sorry that I'm laughing already. This is going to be a fun fucking argument. Okay, 5 minute free form when one of you starts talking.
You want to go or want me to go?
Well, Kirk wanted clarification.
Okay. What?
I'm sorry. Hang on.
In the chat.
I'm going to need clarification. What's up, Kirk? I'm going to bring you in.
What exactly is Nazario's joke? Is it the Arts and Crafts extended?
Do we have this argument that it could be the scene or it could be like a?
Well, that's what I'm asking. Is it the scene or is it just?
Yeah. I believe he's arguing the full scene.
Okay. All right. Okay.
From what I understand in the chat, it was in.
Okay. All right. Just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay. Are we all on the same page?
Yeah, I asked the same question earlier.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Just want to make sure. Okay. So I'm going to leave, and then you guys just start.
Okay. So this is the thing. My scene is hilarious. He extends the arts and craft for 4 hours because he wants his freaking things done so he can sell them. And then one of the old ladies with her broken fingers is like, "My fingers hurt." And she's like, oh, your fingers hurt? Well, now your back's going to hurt because you're doing landscaping duty. I mean, come on, man. That is hilarious. Your joke, you didn't even get the character right. Did you even watch the scene? The principal is a freak on a wrestling mask that got fired. Not the guy who's judging the.
Sorry, I misspoke.
thing.
That's my bad. This movie's bad, Nazario. I'm sorry.
Oh
If
my
I missed
God!
The characters, that's. I'm sorry, but that movie's not good. Look, I'm sorry. This is just me. Maybe it's just me, but two of my grandparents live in the same house as me, and let me tell you, that joke honestly makes my stomach turn every time I watch it. It's uncomfortable.
And what does that have to do with the joke being
this
funny?
guy who's abusing the elderly for profit as someone who's supposed to be taking care of them. That I don't find that funny. That's just me. But this joke, it is delivered in the most perfect deadpan delivery possible.
You were pretty deadpan, and it wasn't funny.
Okay, yeah. Deadpan can be funny when done right, and trust me, this is fun. This is really fun.
Dude, you're
really
saying that you personally don't like the joke because of your personal experience with your grandparents. What if I say I don't like your joke because he makes fun of his his cheating wife? He makes it several times, and I don't respect people who make public fun of their cheating wives on principle. That has nothing to do with humor. Humor is completely subjective. You can be a funny guy and you can have a funny scene. Mine is considered a very funny scene. It has been clipped. It has been gifted. Everybody loves Hallel. The character was so popular, he was actually brought back in Hobby Halloween, and everybody laughed as soon as they saw
matter
it.
Here.
Dude, I'm talking about the scene and how it's funny and how it transcends its scene. Your scene was delivered in a deadpan way, and on an island, it's not funny at all. It's just a thing a guy said. And the proof of that cannot be funny is that the way you said it. And I'll tell you one more thing. You know what makes that thing work? Adam Sandler. because he answered, well, a simple wrong would have sufficed, but okay. And that is what buttons up your scene. That it makes it work. What you're saying, it just, no, it's not.
Look, you can argue. I would argue that, okay, fine. If you're going to bring Adam Sandler's response into this, then I'm going to just say, because genuinely, I don't think it really gets funny until Adam Sandler arrives at the
but Adam Sandler cannot be part of the answer here. You see,
exactly, he can't be part of the answer.
And you're
so
saying it doesn't make funniest at that point.
Look, Nazario, it is the most brutal takedown possible after this guy just basically he spent a while just basically on the most batshit insane rabbit hole possible, and the absolute lack of understanding in the judge is just like, I have never heard something so insanely stupid. Everybody in this room here is now dumber. Like, you are. This is a problem, and his delivery of this and the "May God have mercy on your soul" line at the end is perfection. You don't like it. I don't. That
Dude,
comedy
you're just repeating. You're just repeating the thing. You're not saying
comedy
why it's funny.
I don't think your scene's funny.
Okay, stop. You're taking like 5 minutes again. Dude, you're not saying what. You're just repeating very, very slowly the line. You said it yourself. What makes the thing funny is what happens around the scene. It is funny because Adam Sandler said a bunch of nonsense that is not admissible because it's Adam Sandler and that is not part of the question. The way he reacts to that, it is your joke. The joke by itself doesn't work, doesn't make sense. It just sounds mean. You don't even know what he's talking about. And then to button it up is again with Adam Sandler. My whole thing does not involve Adam Sandler at all. He's not even in the scene. It's the elderly people and how he shows up at the end when the scene ends. But nothing that I mentioned, not the joke with the finger hurting, not selling the quilts for $200, extending the time, and the landscaping. None of that involves Adam Sandler at all. It is an island that is funny unto itself. You can clip that and watch it. If you grab your line, that joke, and you don't put a beginning or an ending to somebody who doesn't know the movie, it makes no sense. It is not funny. It's just mean. And that movie's hilarious, dude. What the fuck is wrong with your humor?
You're talking about my scene not being funny and just being mean when yours is literally just elder abuse. Nazario, in the chat, you put Hal
is funny
elderly as your submission.
But it's funny.
It's not.
I'm saying yours is not.
All right. Jack, you get to close first. You have 1 minute when you start talking.
Some of the funniest comedy is deadpan humor, and that's what this is. Nazario keeps saying, my joke is mean and not funny. I'm saying the same thing about his. Throw that out the window. I don't care. This joke, it doesn't just say wrong. Like, it could have been anything else, and it wouldn't have been as funny. Whereas this guy goes into excruciating detail, going to the very core of how he feels about what he just spent the last couple minutes of his life listening to, and listening to Adam Sandler speak, and he just says to him, no. He doesn't just say to him, no. He goes into great detail and finishes it with, I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul. It is the most beautiful, funny, deadpan line in an Adam Sandler film, and it makes me laugh every fucking time. Nazario's scene just doesn't.
Time. Okay, we're gonna move over to Nazario. 1 minute when you start talking.
He makes him laugh every single time he watches it on a movie that he just said is a piece of shit because it sucks. He's just lying. Come on. His joke needs a prequel and a sequel. And since we said that Adam Sandler could not be involved in it, he just decided to take a line. He could have picked in a different scene. He could have picked Chris Farley saying, no yelling on the boss. That is funny. He just picked a line that by itself has no meaning except being a mean line. Because if you don't get the beginning and the ending by Adam Sandler, it's not funny. My scene exists on itself. It's this guy who's supposed to be taking care of the elderly, abusing him for profit and pretending he doesn't do it when other people show up. It is a full character in just a little scene. It is funny. He sells the quilts. He extends arts and craft to make the sale, and he punishes the people who complain. Yes, it's mean, but it's funny. doesn't make any sense without the context. Only that, he hates his ex-cheating wife.
Time. Okay. We are going to bring in the judges.
Look. Hold on.
All right. Kirk, you're starting us on this one.
Okay. I'm finally voting for Nazario, and I hate to do it for a couple of reasons. A, because Jack's scene is objectively funnier. It is so much funnier than Nazario's scene. But I have to base it on the arguments. I don't think Jack did enough to. I mean, I think he could have talked about the setup and everything. Other reason I hate to do it is because Nazario brought a bunch of technical nonsense into this fight about Adam Sandler being involved that could have easily been shut down that Jack should have. If you win this Nazario, don't bring that against Cody. You're going to get steamrolled. But it worked, so I got to give him the point. So, yeah, Nazario gets this one for me.
Mark, are we split again?
No, I went with Nazario. Or at least not for. I don't know what you voted for, but at least I get it Nazario. Yeah, I just think kind of all around. Just when it came to propping up the scene, I thought Nazario did a really good job. I think he adequately explained kind of all elements of that scene and kind of setting up all the little things that made it really funny. And then also, I think just in general, I think he did a good job of kind of shutting down Jax a bit. I just think kind of all around, I think Nazario just kind of controlled this one.
All right. My vote doesn't count, but it's the first clean sweep of the night. I did go with Nazario, and I thought that I pretty much agree with Kirk and Mark that I think that Jack's scene is funnier. Although Nazario made me laugh the most, which is another in his descriptions of the scene. And yeah, I thought that, Nazario said it, humor is subjective. Nazario's scene to Jack isn't funny. Nazario was claiming that Jack's scene isn't funny. Was claiming that it wasn't funny. That being said, so those things getting thrown out the window, I thought that Nazario just had the technical pitch a little bit better, but oof. All right, so it's 2-1 in favor of Nazario. We are going to move on to the final prep question. Jack needs to hit this in order to send it to the bonus round. So the question is in the category of YA. And the question is, what is, except I have a totally big spelling error here, what is the best action scene in a non-divergent YA film? Jack, you picked this. You get to go first. You have 1 minute when you start talking.
Let me set the scene for you. Thomas and Brenda have just escaped Wicked and are trapped in a series of tunnels after wandering through the tunnels for some time. They encounter a horde of cranks, essentially zombies. With no way to fight all these cranks, they do the only thing they can do: run. The chase through the tunnels is incredibly claustrophobic as they run through the darkness with their flashlights as the only source of light for them to light their way. And the chase up and through the fallen buildings once they escape the tunnels adds a new threat as they make their way through the debris with the cranks still on their tail. They're able to outrun all but one, which they're forced to fight, while on a window of a partially collapsed building that is cracking beneath them, while trying not to get infected at the same time. It's unlike any other action scene in a YA film and features some incredibly is incredibly inventive and features some incredible body horror as well. My opponent's pick relies heavily on convenience and may be the worst action scene in the entire franchise.
I'm getting some shots in on his opponent there at the end. I see you, Jack Pinchuk. We're going to bring in Nazario. Nazario, you get to open when you start talking.
The best scene in a non-YA Divergent movie is the opening of The Death Cure. The movie just goes right into it. It is a chase on a train. It is a prison break rescue where Thomas and Brenda, too, riding two different cars with other characters from the film, follow this train in a high-speed chase. The movie is shot in an intense way. The music swells, and it's an exciting scene just with the setup. But it just keeps going because they reach the train. You can see how they try to jump the train, and it's a tense moment when they almost don't make it, and the car gets destroyed. Then an heli carrier thing, like an helicopter, I don't know the name of the thing, shows up and starts following the Brenda's car, and she gets to her own sub scene, running away with the helicopter while they are trying to reach the front of the train to get inside. It is an exciting scene. It extends. I will keep talking about it because it is exciting in a few minutes when I don't have this guy counting down.
Time. Okay, fair. All right. So 2 Maze Runner scenes. No one wanted to pick the final battle of Breaking Dawn Part 2. Interesting.
That's a dream.
5-minute free form. When one of you starts talking.
So they
Okay,
keep
sorry,
going.
you've noted all the questions. May I start?
Okay, cool.
Okay, cool. Your scene is really bad. It
haven't
has
finished
so many conveniences that it relies on. First of all, they derail the train and Newt pops out from behind a rock right where they derailed it after they established that Thomas and Vince were late. There's no way in hell they would have known that's where it was going to be derailed. Also, the memory wipe kids are somehow better shots than the trained mercenaries by the most powerful company in the world. And also, while all the bullshit going on at the train is happening, Brenda and Jorge are outmaneuvering bullets from a plane operated by more of those trained mercenaries, while luring it to a spot where they can trick the people on the plane to get out of the plane for some reason instead.
Don't spoil it. I wanted to tell that.
They can ambush them with fry pan and a couple other gladers, and then they steal the plane, grab a train car, and fly it away with everyone on board. Your scene
It was part of the plan.
You
ruined it. You read the thing wrong. You ruined it. Look, every movie has.
There's nothing to ruin. It's a shit scene.
Every movie has suspension of disbelief. If you're gonna start nitpicking that shit, you have to nitpick the fucking stormtroopers never hitting anything. Dude, they go into 2 different chases. They do blow up the thing and stop the train because they actually get to separate it because you think, yeah, they want to do the rescue. And Newt comes up with the welding equipment and you're like, oh yeah, they're trying to get into the train. They're going to rescue the kid, right? But then you have the scene with Brenda and Jorge where they are actually, yes, they shoot down the people so they can steal the airplane thing, helicopter thing, because no, he was not really cutting into the train. He was welding chains so they can lift it and escape with the whole prison segment. It's fucking inventive. It's exciting. Yes, it has a bunch of casualties happening, casualidades. I don't remember the word in English.
There's no casualties for the people.
No, it's no casualties. It's chance. Yes, it's chance. Yes, it's a chance thing, but every single movie has chance things in these kinds of scenes. But it works because it keeps you excited.
Look, okay, if you want to pick a scene from The Death Cure, fine. You picked the wrong one. The Walton Goggins blowing himself up.
I don't want to talk about anything we're not talking about here. And we're going to talk about the thing you want to talk about and the thing I want to talk.
From Death Cure. Of all the non-divergent YA films, you could have picked anything from the Maze Runner. You picked the worst scene in the Maze Runner franchise. You could have picked the Hunger Games scene. You could have picked Walton Goggins blowing himself up to let the people into the last city in the Death Cure and the chaos that follows that. Your scene is bland. It has...
I know you wrote all that things down and you want to tell them.
Everything just works out perfectly.
But you won't talk too long.
There is no stakes, none. Whereas Brenda, a completely new character that has just been introduced, is probably going to get killed by his crane. She gets bit at the end of it. Like, where are the stakes in your scene?
Dude, what are you talking about? Your scene is a zombie scene. It's a scene that has been done
really fucking
since the fucking 60s. Like you said, it was an original scene. That was one of the things you mentioned.
I said inventive, not original.
Inventive, cool. It invents a zombie chase that has been done 20 million times before, and it doesn't even work because it does not
show me a
focus
zombie
on
chase where they
zombie.
fight one of them.
Let me speak. Let me speak. You have a zombie chase and ends up, the most original part of it, on a glass that doesn't crack. You know where I saw that? Jurassic Park, The Lost World. And it was way fucking better with a Tyrannosaurus in it. And yours, you say, this is not believable that all these things happen in my scene because they are too many curiosities happening at the same time. Dude, The glass is breaking when it's supposed to be breaking, but it doesn't break when the zombies fall on it, and it doesn't break when
Okay,
when Tom
that's
jumps
one
on it,
nitpick about mine.
and it only breaks when he needs it to break to save Brenda. Come on, your
Yeah,
scene
that's
is
one nitpick
derivative
about mine.
of
What about the 30 I
its
have for
wrong
yours?
genre.
Your scene, it has a
It's
lot
exciting.
going on, and yet none of it matters. Whereas my scene, it's contained, it's focused on one thing, and it's really, really fun. Whereas it has some incredible zombie effects, or some incredible body horror with the
It
zombie
doesn't
designs.
do
They
that.
straight up look like clickers out of The Last of Us, my guy. They are horrifying.
Derivative?
Yeah,
Dude,
they are
what I'm
horrifying.
saying is
And
that
they
your
are-
movie,
they
your
are
scene has
so
no
interesting to watch.
originality. Your scene has no originality. It's not even spoofing the right
Okay,
genre.
fine.
It's
Yours
doing
is
a
just
horror
a rip
movie
off of the
scene.
train heist from Fast 5. Yours has no originality either.
It does. Is they fucking weld the train thing into the helicopter to steal it away. It's amazing.
That's
It's surprising
so
because you were
stupid.
not
There's
expecting
no
it.
chance that. Okay, fine.
Dude, that scene is action from the beginning to end. It's exciting. It never stops. It's like 5 minutes of just pumping energy. They have jumping in the train, blowing up the cars, the shooting down of the helicopter. They weld the thing when they make you believe that they're trying to break into the prison thing, but no, they are just welding chains so they can pull it up. Yours is a zombies chasing, which is a derivative thing from a horror movie, and they fall on a glass that doesn't break like Lost World
Time.
Jurassic Park.
Park. Strike it from the record. Okay, we are going to start with Nazario, who gets to close first. 1 minute when you start talking.
My scene is exciting from beginning to end. It has a lot of action, which is what we're looking for. It has inventiveness. It has chases. It has explosions. It has inventive ways to take the thing outside. Jack is just a zombie scene on a movie that doesn't involve zombies in general other ways, just because he wants to be derivative of this kind of thing. And it has people falling on a glass that doesn't break conveniently, and he accuses me of convenience in the other scene. What Jack said, guys, is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in his ramblings, incoherent response, was he even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this call is now dumber for having listened to it. I hope you award him no points, and may God have mercy on his soul.
All right. Nazario, I did about 15 seconds to spare. Jack, we're going to go to you for your 1 minute closing when you start talking.
I'll admit that was pretty funny. Look, Nazario picked the wrong scene from his own movie. That opening scene, yeah, okay, he can knock the glass not breaking until it has to. Sure, whatever. That's one nitpick he had. What about the 15 to 20 I had on his scene? There is so much wrong with that scene on just a basic filmmaking level. That scene is shot like shit. The action in that scene is bad. There is so much that I had to rewatch that scene 30 times just to comprehend what he could have been going for, and I still couldn't figure it out. This scene is terrible. Nazario's scene is terrible, whereas my scene, it is atmospheric. It has incredible body horror. Whereas and the scene on the glass, yeah, it's exciting. If Nazario's stupid as fuck scene on the train and the plane chase is exciting, so is the cracking glass beneath Thomas and Brenda. This scene fucking rules.
Oh my god. All right. There's so much here.
Both said a lot of things.
There's a lot to unpack. That's for sure. Oh man.
Hey, Mark, did the Bears blood?
Not yet. Still up 10.
Nice.
Wow.
But there's still 4 minutes to go. So
Oh shit!
What's the score? What's the score?
30-20.
All right. Are we ready, judges?
Yes.
Okay.
So
Lot to unpack here. I like both pitches. I like both scenes. I think both are good scenes. I would argue that Jack's scene is actually the best in that whole movie. I'm glad that we talked about 2 different movies and we didn't have to go down that rabbit hole. So I do think that the zombie chase scene with Brenda on the glass, they put it in the trailer for a reason. It's probably the best scene in the movie. Nazario scene, also very good. It's exciting. It's got action, like guns, firing, chases, heists. Like it's got a lot going on. So both convinced me that their scenes were good action scenes, but now we got to find out which one is the best. And so I'm kind of looking at what is getting knocked down. And ultimately, I did go with Nazario, and Jack, I apologize because I didn't vote for you. I'm so sorry. But I do think Nazario, purely on best action, convinced me. Jack had me in his opening. He told me what happens in the scene, the movie. He described the picture for me, and I was with him. But I heard nothing new as we went on through the fight. Jack's pros for his scene were the same at the end. Nazario kept bringing new stuff and then stuff against Jack's. Jack's whole argument against Nazario was it's convenient, it's derivative, and Nazario was like, dude, if we're talking convenience and derivative, like that's all you're seeing too. So I think that Nazario's good outweighed Jack's good, and then at the end of the day, Nazario was able to take down Jack's scene more than Jack was able to take down Nazario's. I do think this was the closest of the 4. It was. I'm assuming that the Bears just gave up another touchdown or something because Mark got really excited. But Kirk, you're voting next. Where are you going?
I hate that this fight is going to decide the title match. I've seen neither of these scenes. Now that I've heard his argument, I really don't know what happened, much of what's going on in either scenes. Both of them said a lot of things. And I have to go by the things that were said, and Nazario said the most things, so I went with Nazario. I think that Jack got too stuck in the weeds of, things that were, coincidence or convenience for the scene and talking about what else he could have picked. And he used that time that he should have been, as Tim alluded to, hyping up his scene and talking about different things from his scene sounds awesome. I love zombies. It sounds like it could be good, but I really don't have a clear picture other than there's zombies and somebody fell on glass. Nazario made his scene sound more exciting. He told me a little more. I felt like I got a little more information about it. So Nazario definitely gets that point.
All right, Mark, your vote doesn't count. Where would you have gone and why?
Yeah. Actually, I like this franchise quite a bit. I think it's a lot funner than people give it credit for. And just I did go with Nazario. So yeah, there was a point in the match where I think Jack was starting to win me over when he kind of did talk about kind of some of the things in the Death Cure scene that are kind of silly, and they're like, and kind of how it's also kind of dumb. I'm kind of sitting there thinking about the scene. Yeah, that is kind of stupid, and that doesn't kind of make it. He was starting to kind of wiggle that, and then I think Nazario just was able to fight back on that by just kind of using the strategy that Jack was trying to use in that one. So yeah, I had to go with Nazario on that one.
All right, well, that means your winner is Nazario Montenegro. We are going to go into post-match interviews. We will start by talking to Jack. Jack, great job today. I know this is always super awkward when I'm the lead host and the lead judge and I don't vote for someone and then I got to bring them in and talk to them and say you did a good job. But I do think you did a good job. I think you surprised pretty much everyone, including yourself, as how far you got. You won a point on Nazario, and I think that you played really, really well. I think this was the best you've played in this run so far. as far as your prep and being ready for these fights goes. I thought you did great. It was the least you stumbled upon yourself. Jack, how are you feeling post-match here?
I feel fine. Like, I'm just upset I lost the YA question, because that was the one I was alluding to earlier, where I just could not figure out what Nazario was going for in his scene. And but you know, he played a hell of a match today. This is why I said what I said last time, where the prospect of playing Nazario scares me, because, well, you don't know what the fuck he's gonna say. He'll bring the most random bullshit into the argument and kick your ass with it. I can't remember who said it, but in the post match of one of Nazario's other debates, one of his opponents said he has a way of twisting your words, and I completely agree. And that's an absolute asset in this division. So, like, Nazario's good at this shit. He played for the debate title before for a reason. He's really good at this, and I'm just happy I was able to get a point against him, honestly.
Yeah, Jack, I think you did great. I'm looking forward to having you back now, because like I said, I think you surprised even yourself, but it's kind of hard to start in a place where, you know, you're not maybe feeling super confident and don't impress the judges, and then go on to play in a number one contenders match. And I think that's what you did in your first match to where you are now. You've improved so much. I'm really looking forward to seeing you come back. I think there was a great improvement, and it really hurts my soul to say nice things about you because I hate you so much. So, Jack, I think you did great, and I look forward to seeing you come back next season. So, we will see you back next season, Jack. Congrats on a great match.
Well, that's good to hear, because I really enjoy this. It stresses me out, but I really enjoy this as well. It's a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Thanks for being here, Jack. We appreciate it as we bring in the winner of the number one contender match. Nazario, once again, I say, wearing the shirt in honor of me. Nazario, thank you so much. I should say in honor of Nick as well. But Nazario, you won the number one contender match. This is the second one of these that you won. And now you're going to play for the title. Before we talk about the title match, let's talk about this match. Your thoughts going into it. Were you feeling super confident? Were you pissed about the one that you missed? Did you want the KO? How are you feeling? Because I know that going into this, at least behind the scenes, you had some thoughts. So how are you feeling about the match?
I feel fine. Like, it's weird not going to a tiebreaker. Like, I think it's the first time that has happened in like a year or so. Like, win or lose, I always got to a tiebreaker for some goddamn reason. I didn't want to look past Jack at all, but the reality is I honestly have been swamped at work. So I know my temper has been a little short, and I apologize for that, especially for the little blowout I had in the chat that one time. It's just a lot of stress, man. But this is a good out, like a good vent for that, because I get to scream at people and be kind of an ass in a funny way, and that's what I do.
Yeah, Nazario, we've mentioned it a couple times, but the last number one contenders match that you won was actually against good old The Hobbit, when you went on to play Kirk for the title. That was at the final act in 2021. So it's been a couple.
He kicked my ass too.
He did win. He did win that match. I do not have the score in front of me. I don't remember what it was, but I believe
I got one.
So it's like 4-1. Yeah, okay, fair. But you are moving on to the title match. You're going up against Mr. Cody Newberry. He has now won his title against Kirk earlier this season, defended against Cameron Holtzman. Now he's going to be playing you. You and Cody debating sounds like something that makes me want to yak. How are you feeling going into that?
I think I have done this once before in a land far, far away with a third person involved. It was a 3-way debate. And the hilarious part was that the third person thought they were going to win. And I assume I was bad at this.
Was it Koho?
No, it's somebody we don't mention anymore. But when me and Cody both like dropped that person in the dust after the first couple of questions, it became pretty obvious that we were on the same train for that time. So I have actually wanted to debate Cody against since that's like fucking 5 years ago, and I've never got the chance. So I'm glad I have the chance. Will it go my way? Probably not. Like the man, it's the fucking champion for a reason. He has been champion in several leagues because he's a good fucking bullshitter. I can bullshit some, so I don't know. Let's just pick some random fucking things and see what happens.
Yeah, Nazario, if you could say one thing to Cody right now, going into the match, what would it be?
I'm not picking Adam Sandler.
How do you feel about that, Cody?
I may pick Adam Sandler. The thing is, Jack, you did fine tonight. But your little weird technicalities that you caught Jack with all night long, guaranteed not to work against me.
You know,
And-
I'll be honest. I'll be honest about
I'm
that.
talking. I'm speaking.
Okay.
And second is similar to this match, you won't have to worry about a bonus round either. So I'll see you in the match.
I want to clarify the technicality thing. Originally, Brian was supposed to be a judge, and he loves that shit. So I was playing to the crowd, and I did not have time to change my strategy.
That's funny. Nazario, we'll see you in the title match. There's so much going on here. Before we break down, well, actually, no. Let's get final thoughts. We'll start with Mark. Mark, final thoughts from you.
Well, at first, I'd just like to say congratulations to all those who have DJ Moore on their fantasy team. This Thursday, October 5th, you guys are just killing it. You guys are doing really well. But the match today was pretty good. Jack, I'm kind of excited to see what he does next. He has improved quite a bit. I think there were a couple times I think he had Nazario in his heels, but Nazario being the seasoned competitor he is, able to overcome that. Now, I think we have a really fun title match coming up.
Yeah, Kirk, final thoughts from you.
Yeah, Nazario's talking about all the stress in his life. I find that helps a lot of players. Sometimes you have those guys who come in, and for whatever reason, maybe they can't prep, but everything else going on in their lives, let's give them a chance to just laser focus in and really get the job done. I think what tonight came down to was that Nazario played his game, and I think he was more ready to play Jack than Jack was ready to play Nazario. I think Jack has showed a lot of improvement. I think Jack is really honing his game and tuning it up here. I don't think we've seen him play his best debate by a long shot, but I think Nazario just was ready specifically to take Jack down tonight. And I think Jack, consider that Jack held his own. I voted for him twice, so I think he held his own pretty well. But, you know, like I alluded to, like Cody said, I think like Nazario knows a lot of stuff he tried tonight is not going to work against Cody. So the question is, can he pivot? Can he find the weaknesses in Cody's game that he was able to fight at Jack's, that he finds a lot of other people? That'll be interesting. Like he said, he played me. He claims he lost badly. I don't remember what the score was, but the guy knows how to pull stuff out of the hat, to throw stuff at you, to surprise you, to throw the curveball. So Cody's going to be ready for that as well. It's going to be a good title match.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Let's break it down real quick here. So Cody's going to be going up against Nazario. I think this is going to be absolutely nuts because I do think that Nazario and Cody, like even just hearing them talk about just like which is the best Ninja Turtle. Cody doesn't give a fuck about the Ninja Turtles, but Nazario will act like it's the greatest fucking most important conversation that's ever happened to the face of man. And Cody will be like, I don't give a fuck, Nazario. And Nazario will be like, I'm going to kill your family. So it's just like really, really intense shit. And it goes both ways there. And the craziest thing about all this is that at the end of all this, we're going to see a rematch no matter what, because we've talked about it before, but I'm officially saying it here. Kirk Kowalkowski is going to be back to play for the title at the final act. And so we're going to see a rematch no matter what. So if Cody wins, Kirk gets a shot at at the title again from Cody. Or if Nazario beats Cody, Nazario gets to try to prove if he should be the champion. So those are the matches left in the season. Title match wise, we've also gotten a couple weeks a really exciting one for you. Kaleb Koho is going up against Jacoby once again. That's going to be a really fun rematch. And then we're also getting Andrew Barr versus Adelaide Spence. We already shot that, and I have PTSD. So you'll see that really soon. But there's a lot of exciting stuff coming up in Fanzone Debate, guys. We will see you really soon with the next match. Be sure to look for that and the title match. We'll see you soon. Until then, bye.